Welcome back, everyone, to the Deep Dive. This time we're going deep, deep, deep into the Twilight Saga, and I'm pretty excited about this one. You ready to dive into a character you might not have thought too much about before?
Always. Lay it on me.
We're talking Billy Black, and we've got this amazing character analysis.
Ooh, juicy.
It's really going to open up his story.
Oh.
And let me tell you, he is so much more than meets the eye, way more than just Jacob's dad.
You know, when you start to peel back the layers of Billy's story, it's really fascinating how important he is. I mean, think about it. He's a Quileute elder, right? Totally immersed in the history and traditions of his tribe.
It's heavy stuff, isn't it? Like, it's not just some made-up backstory for a fictional character. This is about real indigenous communities fighting to keep their heritage alive in a world that's constantly trying to erase it.
Absolutely. And Billy is like the embodiment of that struggle.
And with him, it's like those ancient legends and those shape-shifting secrets, they're not just stories. They're woven into his life.
Yeah.
You know? It's almost like he's carrying the weight of generations on his shoulders, trying to make sure those traditions don't disappear.
Exactly. That sense of responsibility, it impacts everything he does, especially his relationship with Jacob. I mean, Billy's loyalty to his tribe, to his family, it's unwavering.
You really see that when Jacob starts going through those weird changes, like those first hints that he's got this werewolf heritage in him.
And Billy's right there with him every step of the way, guiding him, helping him make sense of something that's probably terrifying and confusing.
But there's also this, like, underlying caution there, isn't there? Especially when Bella Swan and the Cullens come into the picture.
Oh, yeah, that's where things get really interesting. Remember, Billy knows all about the history between vampires and werewolves. He's seen how dangerous that conflict can be, so he's fiercely protective of his son and the tribe.
Makes sense, right? He doesn't want them caught in the crossfire.
Exactly, and it sets up this amazing dynamic, the supernatural world clashing with the human world, ancient traditions bumping up against modern life, and Billy's right there, stuck in the middle.
He's almost like a bridge between those worlds, trying to keep everything in balance.
And on top of that, he's dealing with the son, who's drawn to this whole new world, you know, the world Bella represents, which is alluring and exciting and probably a bit scary for a dad to see.
It's something a lot of parents can relate to, right? That feeling when your kid starts exploring things you don't understand anymore.
Totally. And what makes it even more compelling is that Billy does all of this from a wheelchair.
It's like his physical limitations don't define him at all.
He's still a powerful figure.
Powerful not because of physical strength, but because of his wisdom, his experience, his sheer willpower.
He's the definition of resilience, right? Like,
Yeah.
he's a mentor to Jacob, but not in the way you might think. It's not about showing Jacob how to fight. It's about teaching him the Quileute history and traditions, instilling in him this deep sense of responsibility and purpose.
That's a very different kind of strength compared to what you see in the vampire world.
Oh, absolutely. The Cullens, with all their power and speed, it's flashy.
But Billy, he's got this quiet strength, something that comes from deep roots and a profound sense of duty.
He's grounded, you know, connected to something bigger than himself.
It's fascinating, right? We haven't even scratched the surface of what makes Billy Black such a compelling character. But I think we're off to a good start. What do you think?
Yeah, it really is. He's like this hidden gem of a character.
And you see that impact in so many important moments.
Yeah.
Like when he tries to warn Bella about the Cullens. You remember that scene, right?
Oh, totally. He doesn't just come right out and say, hey, watch out for those bloodsuckers. But he tries to, you know...
He tries to nudge her in the right direction.
Exactly. Like, subtly open her eyes to the danger.
Using the knowledge he has, but respecting her choices, too.
It's tough, right? Trying to protect someone without, like, controlling them.
Yeah. He's walking that fine line. And then you've got his role as a mediator.
Oh, yeah, that's huge. When the tension between the wolves and the Cullens is just...
About to explode.
Billy's the one who steps in, trying to keep the peace.
The voice of reason.
Totally. It makes you wonder, though, what if Billy could transform, too?
Right. What if he was right there in the thick of it with the pack?
Would he have approached things differently? Would he have been more, like, aggressive?
I don't know.
It's an interesting thought, isn't it? Because maybe his strength comes from not transforming.
Like he's the anchor.
Yeah. The one who stays grounded in the human world while everything else is going crazy.
And it's not just about his actions either.
Right. There are all these little details that add so much depth.
Like in this analysis, it talks about all the talismans and artifacts he keeps around him.
Oh, I love that stuff. Those details, they're not just random.
They're symbols, right?
Totally. They connect him to the Quileute past.
Like visual reminders of everything he's trying to protect.
And it's such a stark contrast to the Cullens, you know?
Oh yeah, their whole vibe is totally different.
They've got their wealth, their power, their fancy cars.
It's almost like Billy represents this, like, quieter form of strength.
Yeah, grounded in tradition and community, not just individual power.
And you really see that in his relationship with Jacob, too.
Absolutely. It's not about force. It's about wisdom and understanding.
There's that scene where he tells Jacob about the spirit of the wolf.
Oh, yeah, I love that one. How it's not about aggression, it's about responsibility.
It's beautiful.
It's like he's passing down generations of knowledge, teaching Jacob that true power comes from understanding your place in the world.
And it all comes back to that idea of balance, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Billy's always trying to find that equilibrium.
Between the human world and the supernatural world. Protecting his family, but respecting their choices.
It's a tough balancing act, and he doesn't always get it right.
And his heart's always in the right place.
Oh, definitely. He's a good man, trying to do his best in a really complicated situation. Yeah, he's not perfect. I mean, nobody is. But he loves Jacob and his tribe. He would do anything for them.
It makes him feel real, you know?
Absolutely. He's not like this mythical, all-knowing figure. He's just a man, trying to figure things out in a world that's changing faster than he can keep up with.
But he doesn't give up.
No, he doesn't. He keeps fighting
Mm-hmm.
for what he believes in, using the wisdom and the traditions that have been passed down to him.
And that's a pretty powerful message, I think. Even in a world with vampires and werewolves and all this supernatural stuff, it's the human connections that matter most.
The family ties.
The cultural heritage.
Yeah, Billy shows us that.
So what do you think out there? Have you ever really thought about Billy Black this way before?
He's easy to overlook, but he's so important.
He really represents the heart and soul of the Quileute community.
I hope this deep dive has given you a new perspective on him.
And maybe even inspired you to dig a little deeper into the cultural side of things.
Learn more about the real Quileute people.
Because their story is amazing.
And Billy is a part of that.
That's what makes this deep dive so rewarding, isn't it? It's about more than just entertainment.
It's about understanding, connection,
And maybe even a little bit of inspiration.
to look a little closer,
At the world around us.
and the people in it.
Well, that's about all the time we have for today. But hey, this is just the beginning, right?
The conversation never really ends.
So keep thinking. Keep exploring.
And we'll catch you next time for another deep dive.
See you then.